Joey Jordison again, like I said, it was one of the ones freaked out about it. The lead singer of the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In. So Cedric said that he had the same thing. He said it was ghosts that he felt that passed through him, and there was doors that would not close, and if you close them, they just pop back open again. Absolutely creepy stuff happened in this Laurel Canyon. Now there's no history of
that's right.
of anything really weird about happening here.
Yeah, when
some of the other ones obviously the pyramids. I mean, there's people buried there. There's no particularly weird thing that particularly happened in this place that they can pinpoint as a source of death. Now, this will be one of the couple or maybe three possibly places in LA. So I think LA is a bit more of a haunted history than you would think. Because LA, if you think about it, is kind of more of a modern place. If you think about it.
Absolutely.
It is modern.
It's an invented city to a degree. Like
Maybe it's I was going to say Indian. Native American thing. It's 2019, Paul. We're not speaking in old terms here. So, Red Hot Chili Peppers also said a lot about this, and you know a little bit more about what Red Hot Chili Peppers said about this. They were kind of like...
I think from the day they started recording in there, everybody had this feeling of unease. And also, you have to remember that this would have been one of the first big albums to be recorded in the mansion as well. So they had no prior history of this is people telling them this is haunted and weird stuff has happened or whatever. But
because there's no history or story about it. Yeah.
I think from what I got online, there's a couple of different stories that they're telling kind of anecdotal evidence about shit that they experienced. But as a rule, I think that what they put across was from the day they got in there and start tracking, everything they done had a weird little experience attached to it. There wasn't a moment of any day where there wasn't like, who was that?
And isn't
Did someone walk in there and someone leave?
Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic is their only actually good.
I don't know. I think that might be nostalgia screaming at us. I still don't think the album's good.
That album is their best.
Is their best good?
What I'm saying is, it took a haunting of the butthole for them to get that good.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
So Rick Rubin, who we will say still records there, the band still will go to Rick Rubin all the time. We've discussed as to, we don't really know why. I don't think that albums that come out under the Rick Rubin banner are particularly like
Rick
anymore. Yeah, they're not anymore like.
Well, apparently Steve Albini does the same thing where you could, like, if me and you wanted Steve Albini to produce this podcast, he will do it, right? He's an absolute like war hero, you know what I mean? Like, he's just throw money at him, he'll do it. But apparently he has a team of like 3 or 4 underneath him.
So as long as you can put his name on it.
Yeah. So he shows up like every second or third day, play me. He'll message one of his kind of in-house engineers.
Something good going on there.
Kind of. He's like, but he'll walk in and he'll say, like, have like 20 minutes of material ready, and I'll tell you what needs doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you might, if you rented Steve Albini at whatever $5,000 a week to do an album for you, then you might get 20 minutes with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That, like, to be fair, if he has the overall say on the, like, if something pops up that someone can't do, they'll call him something. But I do think it's a little bit weird to get that name to. Yeah. If you get that name for someone, you want that person to do it. Now, Rick Rubin's not hands-on with his stuff anymore. No. He's Rick Rubin. You get that name on the thing, it looks fucking deadly. Slayer, fucking Run DMC, and, you know, it just looks great.
Yeah.
So, I know he did At the Drive-In, but this is the Mars Volta when they were recording this. We're like, yeah, creepy place to record. Mm. But this was the reason I put it at the top of my podcast. It's not meaty as I would like it to be.
Well, what's meaty about it is the sheer legacy and volume of bands that have been there, that have said there's something off here.
There's something really off about this place. Yeah. Yeah. So who's your one?
Oh, fucking hell, you ready?
Yeah.
Right. This is one of my bands.
You put one of your own bands into the Last Yard podcast.
I did, so I could tell a story.
Yeah, or maybe sort of promote it. No, I'm only joking. The band don't. Listen, I know you. Yeah. You're not that.
The band don't.
But I'm not going to
really exist.
I'm not going to stop slagging you about it.
Like, that's okay. That's fine.
What you're hearing in this playlist is Gar's vocals.
Yeah, the song I wrote and played on and sang. Yeah,
he's not a bad singer to him. If you like hardcore, which I don't.
If you like roaring and shouting. So I was in a band for like 14 years called 20 Bulls Each, and
I'm letting you away with this because you have a good story about it.
Yeah. So I picked the song. War on You, which is off the last album we recorded. The album is called The Glorious and Bloody Revolution. Now, the album itself is whatever. This is the first and only album that band ever recorded for like a decent record label. Because we got offered a spot on a record label and we had, I think, 6 months to write and record an album.
Right.
We just released another album. I got a call one day saying like, on the 1st of July, we have to have the masters ready to press.
What would sometimes happen was they would distribute the album that's already out themselves.
They didn't want that. They wanted
They wanted new, absolute full. Absolute. This is 6 months after you just bled your hole on another album.
Yeah, and the
do you know what it is? They don't want to be paying anyone.
They didn't want to. Well, we'd self-released everything we'd ever put out. There was a couple of labels in the States, tiny little like fucking basement labels that we had worked with for fun. That we'd given them songs and given them EPs and stuff like that. But this was a big label in that world of hardcore and punk. It was a label that I owned most of their albums that they'd put out. I was a fan of this label.
Right, okay.
And what's weird, I never sent them demos or anything like that. I don't know how they got my number. I couldn't tell you.
I thought you were like literally mailing them.
I wasn't chasing them.
I love your stuff. No. It's amazing. No, Can I be on your label, please?
Exactly. I had a record shop in Temple Bar, and one day I got a phone call at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon with this American voice at the other end of the phone explaining who he was, that he fucking owned this label.
And you know this label inside out.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, like I can...
This is one of my mates going, this is taking a piss.
Like 10 steps away from you, I have all your records there on the shelf, you know? And, but, okay. We never really got to tour this album.
Because the Ghosts said no.
Yeah. The album beforehand, we'd done a couple of US tours. Now, this is... the only real good ghost story I have. I've seen mad shit, but none of it really has a good story. This does. I think we done 4 USA tours, 4 years in a row. And I think the third year was probably the biggest one we ever done. We think we done the guts of maybe a month over there. The guts of a month, yeah.
Did you break America?
America is fun, yet no crack. And it was hard, but it was also a great experience. But the third one was the longest one.
You were a vegetarian in America.
Yeah, now that's fine. Back then, no.
Back then, yeah.
No.
Will you have a bit of lamb?
Yeah.
Would you have a bit of lamb?
There was an awful lot of terrible cheese eaten over that month, and terrible bread.
Yeah, you looked a bit fat in those photos.
We came back skinny. I tell you what, came back skinny.
Fucking
Skinny was in shite by the end. There was nothing left of him. He turned sideways.
Skinny is the drummer from Gar's band. Yeah. That's why it's a funny little story.
If Skinny turned sideways, you couldn't see him by the end of that tour. Translucent, we used to call him.
Oh, that's a smoker's cough if ever I heard one.
That's a dying cough. This hand sanitizer is killing me. So I think the third tour we done of the States, there used to be this great website called bookyourownfuckinglife.com. Really long name.
Bookyourownfuckinglife.com.
Yeah. So essentially what it was this would have been back in the kind of MySpace, early Facebook days. And if you wanted to do a tour of the States, you would go onto your band's Facebook page, you post something up, we're booking for next year. And if you had a record or two out and you were halfway known in a scene, it was easier. So we were okay for most of that tour. But every now and again you'd get like a Tuesday night where there was just nobody biting. And you had to fill it, you know. It's costing. We had musicians' visas and equipment rental. It was expensive to do, you know. Van rental, all this kind of shit. So you had to be working every night. You could afford to take maybe every third or fourth night off.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a travel night or something like that. But we found this website called Book Your Own Fucking Life. And basically what it was like a directory of gig promoters and bookers all over the world. So what you would do is you would have a plan set. So we're going to fly into Boston. So we're going to rent our equipment in Boston or borrow gear from another band. We're going to rent our van, and that's where we're going to That's going to be our HQ.
Yeah.
Generally, you would fly into a city that you knew somebody that you could stay in their house for a night or two while you got your shit together.
Couch surfing, but bands.
Exactly. So we would generally fly into Boston because I hate flying, and that's the shortest flight from Ireland to America.
You do hate flying.
I fucking despise flying.
You hate meat and flying.
Pretty much.
And Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And spiders and injections. If you can combo all of them, I'll die. And I hate the Red Hot Chili Peppers also.
What about a spider that looked like Anthony Kiedis that tried to inject you with his little fucking...
Well, on a plane?
Oh, God, that'd be you dead now, would it?
During turbulence.
And then the only food available on the flight was a BLT.
A BLT. Or no, even must that be like a stew or a cuddle where you can't even pick the bits out. That'd be the worst. There's no crack there. Yeah. I'll just breathe the vapor off and hope for the best.
Myself. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So we found a promoter in upstate New York that was willing to just... I think upstate New York was so starved. Now, hang on. You've got like Buffalo and Syracuse. You've got big cities up there, right? But like, there's not that much really going on there except for the weekends. So we found this booker in a place called Summit, New York, who was willing to put us on a Tuesday. So we were like, fuck yeah, we'll take it. Like, we had done 2 tours of the States. We'd always kind of stayed within a kind of tri-state radius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're always like...
Because it's a fairly big old country, to be fair to it.
It's fairly large. So we'd always kind of stayed within 3 or 4 states, made our life a little bit easy.
East Coast job.
But yeah, East Coast and Midwest. So with this one, we kind of expanded it. But we didn't understand that, like, between, like, New York City, I think the night before we played New York City, and we were thinking, like New York, like, it's still New York. Be grand.
You've done it.
Size of New York, and it's not even that big.
It's so big, man.
Right?
It is, though.
Up we went to Summit, New York. Now, we were playing in a venue called the Lakeview House, which is a hotel.
That sounds like a horror movie waiting to happen.
Looks like a horror movie.
Wow.
Right? This hotel had closed 2 years beforehand. Okay? Had closed. It wasn't abandoned, but there was a woman, I think her name was Linda, who lived there and owned the Lakeview House Hotel. Now, this looked like the Amityville Horror House. It was one of them, like, white wooden fucking, like, full creep fucking places. We get up there at, like, whatever, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We get up there early. We sit outside. Eventually, somebody pulls up in, like, a pickup truck and explains what's going on. So we're like, okay, we're here to play. She goes, okay, now listen, the hotel is closed. But every now and again, because we know the guy who books these gigs, his name's Walter. He's a good friend of ours. So we let our function room open every now and again. And we open the bar, we sell some bottles of beer. All the local kids and fucking people who are into music come out.
Sounds kind of cool.
Exactly. It's kind of a cool little thing. Now,
the way country gigs are run pretty
everywhere
much now. Yeah.
So Summit in New York has a population of about 1,000 people, right? It's very, very small. Very, very small. We get in, we set up our equipment in the function room. Walter, who's the promoter, shows up, and he properly does the introduction to Linda, who's the owner. Now, again, we'd met her a couple of hours beforehand, but she was a little bit standoffish, and we kind of felt like she wasn't really that into it. She shows us to our rooms. She goes, oh, you're going to stay here tonight. So we're like, all right, yeah, cool. As she shows us into this one big room that she had like fucking 6 or 7 beds just in this big joint room. And she says, listen, like, I know you're not from around here, so you don't know the history of this place. But I'm going to explain this to you. And I'm not trying to scare you, because I don't think anything's going to happen, but I feel like I need to warn you that lots of people that stayed here over the years when it was a hotel tell us that it's haunted. And they see stuff and hear stuff all the time. Now, she says, I've been living here all my life. I see stuff and hear stuff all the time, but I'm so used to it, it doesn't really register with me anymore.
I'm in with the ghosts.
Pretty much.
I'm in with them.
Fucking homies.
Best of, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with them.
Exactly.
I clean up their poltergeists from the back of the toilet, it's fine.
Exactly. Now, as the resident fella who's into ghosts and Bigfoots, I start shitting the bed. I'm like, I am not having any of this. I don't want it.
Did she plant something in your head,
yes.
though?
So I'm absolutely, hands up, I'm denying it. I'm having absolutely none of this bullshit, right? So we play the gig. It's good fun. People come out. We have a couple of beers afterwards. She powers up the kitchen, makes us food. Bedtime, right? Up we all go. Hop into beds. I get into Skinny's bed with him. I'm like, I'm not sleeping on me.